Bismillahir, Rahmanir, Raheem. All right, listen, y'all. Today, we have a very, very heavy message for you. Something very important we need to talk about. We need to talk about the resurrection of the anti-fragile and the death of the soft man era. Before we begin, it's important that we understand the words that we're using or understand the words that we're using. So we'll do what I like to call word alchemy, all right? I'm just gonna break down each word in the title of this so y'all have full context of the meaning. So let's start with the word anti-fragile. You won't find that in any ancient text. That is a phrase that was coined by a gentleman named Nassim Taleb. And he kind of came up with that. He wrote a book. It was to describe a system that don't just resist stress, but it actually grows stronger because of it, right? Now, let's break it down. What does anti mean? Anti means the opposite, and fragile, that means easily broken, delicate, or weak. So anti-fragile is the opposite of easily broken. But here's where most people stop. They think that anti-fragile simply means being strong and resilient, but they're wrong, right? Resilient means you withstand the hit and you return to your original state. You basically are surviving the storm and rebuilding what once was. Anti-fragile means this. It means you withstand the hit and become better than who you were before. That storm does not break you. That storm creates you. Two different types of men in this world. Some get broken, some become stronger, right? And this is not about survival. This is an acceleration of evolution through pure violence. All right, so let us examine death. What does that mean? Death comes from the Old English word death. It's the same, the etymology is the same, and it basically means the cessation of life, the end of biological function. That's it. But death is not only biological, it's also metaphorical. The death of an idea, the death of the way of being, the death of a version of yourself that no longer serves. So when I say death of soft men, I'm not trying to go out and kill nobody, right? I'm speaking about the extinction of a certain kind of archetype, the extinction of a certain kind of man. These are men who choose being comfortable over being capable. A man who's performative about his vulnerability instead of focusing on transformation. That man needs to die now. Let's break down the word soft. The etymology of that is soft. It comes from the Old English word soft, and it means yielding to pressure, easily shaped, lacking firmness, mushy, amorphous. Soft is not bad when, you're applying that to the right domain. Soft silk, soft mercy, a soft voice at the right moment. But a soft spine is a catastrophe. That's not the vibration, y'all. A soft will is being a slave. A soft man in a hard world is nothing but a liability. He's useless. He's not good to anybody. Softness in the body, that's no muscle tension, no structural integrity, no capacity to bear load. Softness in the mind, it means no conviction. You stand for nothing, no clarity, no ability to hold truth under pressure. Softness in the spirit, that's the worst. That's no connection to source, no discipline, no willingness to suffer for anything, especially for that what is sacred. This is not being tender, this is being weak. And this is a different type of weak because they try to dress this type of weakness up as wisdom. We still on this word alchemy journey, right? Breaking it all down. So I'm talking to the men, so let's talk about the word men. Men, the original meaning is to think, to have consciousness, or to be aware. A man is not just simply a biological male. A man is a human being who has taken full responsibility of his consciousness, of his choices, of his capacity, and of his impact. A man is one who stands in between chaos and order and holds the line. A man is one who can bear suffering and don't collapse, won't complain. A man is one who builds, who protects, who provides, and leads, not because it's easy, because it's necessary. But a man steps up when it's hard. When we pull that all together, what are we really saying? We're saying anti-fragile up, soft men down, all right? Now, there is a way of being that grows stronger through adversity, and that is at war with the modern man that crumbles under the slightest pressure. One of these will survive, and one of these will die. And the choice is yours. Let's be precise. I gotta be precise about what we're talking about and what anti-fragility really is. Anti-fragility is not just toughness. Toughness is just the ability to endure pain. Anti-fragility is different. It takes that pain and transmute it into power. Toughness says I could take a hit. Anti-fragility says thank you for that hit, right? I needed that to become who I am becoming. I always tell y'all stress is your best friend. Let's look at this whole framework now. There are 3 categories of systems in the universe. Fragile systems break under stress. A wine glass, a reputation that's built on lies, a body that never trains, a mind that avoids hard questions. These collapse as soon as pressure arrives. Then you have robust systems, right? A robust system will resist stress like a steel beam, a well-built bridge, or a disciplined man who can endure hardships without breaking. These survive the storm and return to baseline. Then you got number 3, the anti-fragile system. That improves under stress. Is a difference. The immune system, it improves. Muscle tissue improves. A mind sharpened by debate or studying, it improves, right? A spirit refined by struggle. You're not just surviving, you are evolving, you are thriving. And here's the law. Anti-fragility requires 3 elements, right? Number 1 is your exposure to stress. You cannot grow without load. A muscle that is never challenged will atrophy. The mind that's never tested will become dull and stupid. A spirit that's never pressed, it'll drift off. Now, that's 1. Number 2 is the recovery. Stress without rest is just destruction. The body needs sleep. The mind needs silence. The spirit needs prayer. In that recovery, that's when the adaptation is happening, right? That's when the growth occurs in the repair. And number 3 is the iteration, is doing it again. One successful stress session does not build anti-fragility. Repeated exposure over time, over and over again, it builds the system. Consistency compounds. The man who lived once is sore. The man who lives for years is strong. What I'm telling y'all right now is not a theory. This is literal biology. This is physics and it's divine law. Allah does not command us ease. Allah commands us sabr. That's patience, that's being steadfast, and that's having endurance under the load. The Quran says this: do you think you will enter paradise without being tested as those before you were tested? They were afflicted by poverty and hardship, and they were shaken until the messenger and the believers with him said, when will the help of Allah come? Verily, the help of Allah is near. This is a design. This is a pattern. You are not exempted from struggle. You're refined from it. Anti-fragility in the body means you train with intent. You lift heavy things. You move through 4 ranges. You sprint until your lungs burn. You fast to teach your system that hunger is not an emergency. You expose yourself to the cold or to the heat to prove that discomfort is not danger. You build the body that can handle more, that can endure more, that can produce more. Are y'all following me right now? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Good. Now, anti-fragility in the mind. It means you think under pressure. You read these difficult texts, you engage in hard questions, you sit with discomfort instead of scrolling past it. You write to clarify your thoughts. You debate to sharpen your logic. You build a mind that does not collapse when certainty is challenged. This is also applied to relationships. Anti-fragility in relationships mean you speak the truth even if it creates tension. You have those difficult conversations before resentment starts to calcify the heart. You correct with love, you defend with loyalty, and you build bonds that are tested, therefore are trusted. Anti-fragility in the spirit means you submit when submission is hard. You rise for Fajr when your bed wants you to stay. You balance Salah when your ego wants you to stand. You fast when your stomach's starving. You give when your hands want to close. You build a soul that does not drift when the wind changes. This is not religion for the sake of tradition. This is literally an architecture. This is a structure that holds when everything else shakes, because everything will shake. Now, here's what anti-fragility is not. Anti-fragility is not recklessness. It's not jumping off a building to prove you're tough. That's stupidity. That's not strength. Anti-fragility is not stoicism that refuses to feel. A man who cannot cry is not strong. He's just numb. Strength is feeling the weight and still standing. Anti-fragility also is not toxic masculinity. A lot of people say, hey, there's no such thing. Yes, there is. I've been that guy before. It's not that. It's not about that, right? It's not about trying to be manly for the sake of dominance. Real strength protects. It does not destroy for its own ego. Anti-fragility is intelligent exposure to manage stress. Anti-fragility is intelligent exposure to whatever kind of stress with the intent to grow. So let's look at this properly. Anti-fragility is a signal. It's the capacity to handle reality as it actually is, not as how you want it to be. Fragility is noise. Fragility is an illusion that you can avoid suffering by performing awareness of that suffering. Now, we have to diagnose a disease right now, because this is a disease. Let's look at what happened to men. I watch this every day, right? It really bothers me. I see it in the gym, you see it online, hear it in conversations. Men have become soft. Y'all got soft. Not all men, but enough of it to where it's becoming like a norm, right? Enough of it to where a man just being a man, being hard, that's looked at as toxic, right? Enough that a capable man, when a capable man comes around, a strong man, everyone's suspicious of him, right? Let's be clear about what I mean by soft. I'm not talking about kindness, because kindness is strength. That's the real kind of strength that's applied with precision. And I'm not talking about emotional intelligence. A man who understands his and others' emotions is very powerful. I'm not talking about mental health awareness, right? I'm talking about the man who uses his struggle as an identity. The man who performs his pain instead of processing it. The man who thinks talking about the work is doing the work, right? I'm talking about, the man that has a skincare routine, but not a training routine. He knows his moisturizer, but not his deadlift max, right? I'm not condemning self-care, right? I am condemning the inversion where self-care becomes self-worship. That's a disease, and it has 3 symptoms, and we're gonna break it down right now. The first symptom is the worship of comfort. We live in a culture that has made comfort the highest value. Ease is the goal. Convenience, that's the king. Anything that requires effort, they call it trauma. It's wild. Now let's really look at this. These algorithms, their best interest is to keep you swollen, right? Food is designed, it's not grown anymore, it's designed to keep you eating. Content is designed to keep you numb. The entire modern infrastructure is built to eliminate friction. You cannot eliminate friction, or you should not eliminate friction, because if you have no friction, you are not growing at all. You don't build muscle in comfort. You build it under load. You don't sharpen your mind without it being challenged. You do not deepen your spirit in convenience. You deepen it in surrender. But men have become conditioned to avoid discomfort at all costs. They optimize their mornings, they hack their sleep, they microdose their way to enlightenment. They want the results without a process, the fruit without the root. And I have to tell you, my guy, if that's you, that's weak. You're being weak. Knock that shit off. Here's the second symptom. It's this, I don't like this, I'm sorry, but it's a performative vulnerability. I don't even think men should be vulnerable in public, okay? How about that? What does vulnerable mean? It means one who's open to attack, right? Now, y'all treat vulnerability like some kind of currency, right? Some of these guys, they feel like if they share their struggles online, they get likes, they get comments, they're told they're brave. I'm not with none of that energy. The validation feels like growth, but it's not. Growth happens in private. Growth happens in the 4 a.m. wake up and ain't nobody around. Growth happens when you make that decision to train, even though you're tired. Growth happens the moment you choose to bow in salat instead of scrolling. But you know what happens in public? Performance. Performance is the post about your struggles. Oh, the struggles, what I've been through. So this is some kind of vulnerability without violence. You're confessing, but you're not correcting. I see men who can articulate their anxiety in 15 slides, but they cannot sit in silence for 5 minutes. Men who talk about their trauma, but will not do the work to heal it. Men who want credit for awareness with no accountability for their actions. That's weak. That's consumption. It's not courageous. right? You're a coward. You're consuming your own pain and you're putting it back out there as content. You're probably crying too. You crying in your content? Not at all. Now, the worst part of this is y'all reward it. The culture rewards this bullshit. You reward it because it's easy. It has no cost. It requires no discipline. Well, I could do that too. It demands no transformation. You can be broken and celebrated for your brokenness instead of challenged to become whole. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. That's 2 symptoms. I got one more. It's the outsourcing of strength. These modern motherfuckers no longer believe that they're capable. They need a coach. They need a therapist, right? A guru. Come on, y'all. Now, I'm not against help. I'm not against that. But I am against you being dependent on help. There's a difference between seeking guidance and outsourcing your will. There's a difference between learning from your mentor and waiting for permission to act. You see, men used to build things with their hands. They used to solve problems through trial and error. They used to bear the weight because there's no other option. Now they wait. They research, they optimize, they consume information, but they produce nothing. They know more about their fitness than the grandpas, but they can't do 10 pull-ups. They know so much about nutrition, you got so much knowledge up here, but you're overweight. You know all of these productivity hacks, but you accomplish nothing. Knowledge is important if wisdom is applied. Wisdom applied to knowledge brings forth understanding. But knowledge just to have knowledge is pointless, it's noise. See, some of y'all think that struggling is bad. You think there's something wrong, like if you're suffering, that's a sign that something's wrong. You think that if you're in pain, it's gonna destroy you. That's a lie, it's not true. Listen, suffering is not the problem. Suffering is the teacher, that's the classroom. The question is not how do I avoid suffering, the question is what will I become because of this suffering? Islam makes this clear. The prophets were tested more than anybody. Musa in the desert, Ibrahim with the sacrifice, Yusuf in the well, Muhammad, peace be upon him, losing his children, his wife facing rejection, persecution, and war. They were not spared. Everyone goes through this. But look what it created. Look at the diamonds that was forged out of that pressure, out of that stress. The modern man will look at that and say, that's trauma. Nah, can't do it. But an awakened man, a real man, he look at it and say, that's my training, that's my food, give me my food, right? So when you collapse, that's spiritual, right? To the root, that's to the core, that's who you are. It's like when a man stops praying, he stops being tethered to the source. When he stops being tethered, he starts drifting away. When he starts drifting away, he looks for anchors in the wrong places. Validation, comfort, distraction, performance, and none of that holds. So what happened? He's not fortified. He gets softer. He gets weaker. He's more fragile. And this world that we live in does not care about his feelings. It will break him. And instead of getting back up, he performs the breaking. He makes content about it. He builds an identity around it. This is a death. This is a spiritual death. This is the death that I'm talking about. It ain't physical, it's a spiritual death. The death of a man who could have been. Now I just described the disease and the symptoms. Now I gotta hook you up with the antidote. I have to prescribe a proper antidote for you. The prescription is simple, but it's not easy. It is violence towards entropy. It is discipline as love, suffering as signal. Now let me be very clear. When I say violence, I'm not saying to harm anybody. I mean an intentional application of stress to build your capacity. You must become anti-fragile. The only way to become anti-fragile is to expose yourself to things that can break you, but you choose not to break. It's a decision. You can start developing this anti-fragility through physical discipline. Your body, that's the first battlefield. If you can't command your body, you ain't commanding nothing else in your life. It's just that simple. The prescription is load. That's your medicine. Load, progressive overload. You must lift heavy things and put them back down. This is not vanity. This is you being capable. When you train hard, you're training your nervous system that you can handle more than you think. You're building evidence that you are that guy. Every rep, think about this, every rep is a vote for the man that you are becoming. Every set is a definitive statement. I ain't soft, not weak, and I ain't gonna collapse under no pressure. The gym, Y'all, the gym, that's a sacred place. That's a sacred place for the modern man. It's a place where you go to remember that you are capable. It's a place that you train yourself to impose order on chaos. This is where you take the raw material of your body and create it into something stronger. And guess what happens? That discipline in the gym, it transfers. The man who could push through that last rep can push through that hard conversation. A man who can finish that workout when he's tired can finish that project when he ain't got no motivation. Training is not just about your body, it's about your will. You're strengthening your will and your mind. And now that we're talking about the mind, let's talk about the anti-fragility through mental rigor. Your mind is the second battlefield. If your mind is cluttered, your life will be chaotic. So the medicine for that, the prescription for that is curation. You must guard your inputs. You must be mindful of the inputs. You must be mindful in particular about the information that you're putting into your mind, just like you are with your food. So this is what I want you to do too. Take that phone and delete those stupid ass apps, right? All of the distraction apps. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel worse. Stop consuming content that does not make you feel better. Replace consumption with creation. Write every day, build something, solve a problem, engage in a hard question, try to learn something. Sit in silence for 10 minutes every day. Can you do that? I'm talking about no phone, no music, no podcast. Just breathe and be present. This is what we call defragmentation. This is clearing out the cache. Your mind is either growing or it's dying. There's no maintenance mode, there's no in between. And that takes me to anti-fragility through relational integrity. Your relationships are the third battlefield. If you cannot hold truth with the people that you love, you're not safe. The prescription here, the medicine that you need for this is honesty. Radical, uncomfortable, precise honesty. Have that hard conversation before it's too late. Stop performing connection. Just build it for real. Put your phone down. Put the phone down and ask a deep question. Listen to your person without just waiting to respond. Just fucking listen. Just listen. Right? People really need to know that you won't collapse when things get hard. They need to know that your word is your bond. And I ain't saying you gotta be perfect, but you gotta be present. Anti-fragility also runs through the spiritual side as well, through submission. Your spirit is the fourth and final battlefield. If your spirit is not aligned, is not solid, is not fortified, everything else is built on a false foundation. The prescription here, the medicine here is Salah. 5 times a day, on time and with presence, with your intention set. This is not a ritual for the sake of tradition. This is the anchor. This is the firewall against spiritual entropy. Fajr, that's the first form of violence against comfort. Why? Because it's still dark outside when it's time for Fajr. You rise up, you're all comfortable in bed, and you prove that you're not enslaved to Eve. You know what I did today? I went to the masjid today for Fajr. My brother at the gym told me about it yesterday. I said, I'm gonna show up, inshallah. And I went. And I'm so glad that I went. I'm committing to go every day now. So it's more than just getting up out your bed and you going to pray. I'm actually getting in the car and going amongst other men to submit before our Lord, right? That's my commitment to myself, right? I'm just putting y'all up on notice. We could all do this. Duhur is the interruption of your ambition. I love duhur. That's when you stop. While you're working, you gotta stop. And you remember that you making money, that's not everything. That's not your God. That is a servant to you. So you go take a break and you go talk to God. Next is Asr. That's discipline under fatigue. You're holding the line when the energy fades. Then is Maghrib. That's the gratitude reset. That's when you return the day to the one who gave you the day. And then the last and final is Isha, that's the final seal. You sign the covenant before you sleep and the angels come. So that's 5 times a day that you return. 5 times a day that you reconnect. 5 times a day that you prove that you belong to God, not this world. This is how you stay tethered to source. This is how you stay real strong, mighty, stronger than strong, This is how you become anti-fragile in the most important domain. When the spirit is aligned, the body obeys, the mind clears, the relationships heal, everything downstream aligns. Wallahi. The prescription is not complicated. Train hard, think clear, love honestly, and pray consistently. Simple, but not easy, and that's the point. Soft men want the hack, the shortcut. They want the easy. They don't want no kind of suffering. The anti-fragile man knows that there is no shortcut, it's only work. And the work is what makes him anti-fragile. It makes us unfuckwittable. So what we doing, y'all? This is the resurrection of the anti-fragile and the death of the soft man era. The death of the motherfucking soft man era. This is it, y'all. I'm putting y'all up on notice, all right? Now, you got the information. Do with it as you will. Doesn't really matter to me. I know what I gotta do. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.